Welcome back to another recap. Today we're diving into the movie Prisoners. The movie kicks off with the Dover family heading over to their friends, the Birches, for Thanksgiving. Both families have 2 kids each, the teenagers, Ralph Dover and Eliza Birch, and the younger girls, Anna Dover and Joy Birch. Everyone's in a good mood, enjoying the holiday. At one point, Anna and Joy ask to go play outside. Keller, Anna's father, tells her to grab her brother and take him with them. Ralph and Eliza head out to keep an eye on Anna and Joy. The little girls immediately bolt toward a beat-up RV parked outside a neighbor's house. For some reason, they decide it's a jungle gym, banging on the sides, and Anna even tries to climb it. Ralph quickly pulls Anna down, and Eliza grabs her sister. They start dragging the girls away from the RV. But then Eliza hears music coming from inside. She and Ralph freeze. Someone's definitely in there. They're pretty creeped out. After lunch, the adults are chatting. Anna walks in and asks if she and Joy can go back to the Dover house to look for her whistle. Grace, Anna's mom, says it's fine, but only if Ralph and Eliza go with them. The girls head out of the room, and that's the last anyone sees of them. Later that evening, Keller checks in with Ralph and Eliza, asking where Anna and Joy are. They say they haven't seen them, not since lunch. Panic sets in fast. Everyone starts searching the house, the neighborhood, everywhere, but the girls are gone. Then Ralph remembers the RV with the music and the guy inside. He tells the parents, and suddenly things go from bad to worse. Keller pushes Ralph to take him to the exact spot where the RV was parked. Once he sees it for himself, he calls the police. Meanwhile, Detective Loki responds to a police call about an RV matching the description spotted at a gas station. He rolls up with backup, spots the vehicle, and they start surrounding it. But the guy inside panics, slams the gas, and drives straight into a tree. Loki hauls out the driver, a quiet, strange man named Alex Jones. During the interrogation, Loki presses Alex about the girls, but Alex continues to deny seeing them. He says he sometimes sleeps in the RV, and that day, he had just been driving around. Loki pushes harder. Where does he usually park it? Alex says in front of his aunt's house. So Loki pays the aunt a visit. She lets him in, clearly confused. According to her, Alex has never caused any trouble. He's either at home or in the yard, always under her watch. Then she mentions her husband walked out one night after a fight 5 years ago and never came back. Back at the station, Loki gets an update. The RV comes up clean. No forensic evidence, nothing linking it to the girls. They comb through the woods near the gas station where the RV had been parked, but still no trace. The next day, Loki checks in with the families. He visits the Birches first, then sits down with Grace. She's not ready to face the worst, still clinging to the hope the girls will just come walking back in. She tells Loki she's heard he's never failed to solve a case. He looks her in the eye and tells her he'll find her daughter. Keller shows up and corners Loki. He's convinced Alex is the guy, no doubt in his mind. But Loki pushes back. There's no physical evidence in the RV, and Alex's severely low IQ makes it unlikely he could have pulled off a kidnapping without leaving a trace. Keller's falling apart. He gets angry, desperate, begging Loki to charge Alex with something. Anything, just to keep him locked up a little longer. Loki tries, but his captain shuts it down. No evidence, no charges. So Loki pivots. He pulls a list of every registered offender in the area. If Alex isn't the guy, someone else is, and Loki's going to find him. Loki follows a lead to the house of a local priest, Patrick Dunn. He finds a guy passed out drunk and lets himself in. Down in the basement, things get from bad to worse. Loki discovers a rotting corpse, with a maze pendant hanging from its neck. Looks like it's been there a while. The priest comes clean. He says the man confessed to killing 16 children as part of some twisted war on God. So the priest took matters into his own hands. Claimed he never got the guy's name. The next day, the police release Alex into the custody of his aunt, Holly. Reporters swarm as they step outside the station. Keller, tipped off by Grace, rushes over, furious, unhinged, and goes straight at Alex, beating him in front of everyone. During the scuffle, Alex leans in and whispers that they didn't cry until he left them. Keller snaps, but the cops pull him off before it gets worse. No one else heard what Alex said. Just Keller. The captain pulls Keller into a room for a chat. Good news, they're not pressing charges for the assault. Bad news, Keller still wants Alex arrested. He tells Loki about what Alex said to him, but without a witness, it's just his word. Loki isn't convinced, and neither is anyone else. Keller storms out of the station, angry and empty-handed, and Alex walks free. Loki heads over to Holly's place to question Alex directly. He asks if Alex said anything to Keller. Alex, of course, denies it. Afterward, Loki calls Keller, tells him they're not arresting Alex again. It's going nowhere, and they're wasting time. He's moving on to other leads. Keller doesn't respond, just hangs up. He goes to Grace's room, who's unraveling. She lashes out, desperate, broken, telling him he used to make them feel safe. He promised he'd always protect them. Keller tells Grace and Ralph he's going to help the police. Sounds feasible. But that night, he follows Alex as he walks Holly's dog, then pulls a gun on him. The next day, Keller brings Franklin, Joy's father, to a run-down building he owns. Inside, tied up and bruised, is Alex. Keller's taken matters into his own hands. He's kidnapped Alex, and now he's going to torture the truth out of him. Franklin is horrified. He tells Keller this is insane, that they can't do this. But Keller's locked in. He says they hurt Alex until he talks, or their daughters die. As far as he's concerned, Alex stopped being a person the moment he took the girls. He begs Franklin to help. Franklin is shaken, terrified, but he doesn't leave. Meanwhile, Loki visits the priest again, now in custody. The priest recalls what the man he killed had told him, that he used to kidnap children in broad daylight, sometimes more than one at a time. Keller spends the entire day torturing Alex, beating him while Franklin holds him down. Alex is a wreck, bloodied, shaking, and terrified. But despite all of it, Keller still has nothing. No answers, no girls, just violence. Later, Franklin shows up at the vigil with his family, looking like he's going to be sick. Keller's version of justice is eating him alive. Loki's there too, watching the crowd, where he locks eyes with a suspicious man. Their eyes meet, and the guy bolts into the woods. Loki chases him, but loses him. He puts out a sketch of the man to the community. The next day, Loki learns that Alex is missing, suspiciously gone. He replays Alex's interview, looking for anything he missed, but gets interrupted by a call about the suspect's sketch. Loki heads to a local store where a clerk recognizes the man. She says he's been there several times, buying kids' clothes, but always in different sizes. Loki tells her to call him if he shows up again. Meanwhile, it's day 2 of the torture. Franklin can't take it anymore. When he comes home later that night, he confesses everything to his wife, Nancy. She storms over to Keller's house, furious and demanding answers. She tells him she wants to see Alex herself. They all go back to the building. Nancy takes one look at Alex and is horrified. He's a mess. She tries to help, even unties his hands, and pleads with him to tell her where Joy is. But Alex shoves her to the ground and makes a break for it. Not a great move. Keller tackles him, and they tie him back up. This time, Keller builds a makeshift cell, a 1-by-1 square space, no windows, no light. He locks Alex inside and tells Franklin and Nancy they can talk to him through the door. Franklin's had enough. He wants this over. Keller tells him he's free to let Alex go. He actually tries until Nancy stops him. While Nancy and Franklin are out, the suspect slips into the Birch house unnoticed, then crosses over into the Dover's place. Grace hears something but assumes it's Anna, back at last. She calls Loki distraught. Loki shows up, checks the house, but finds nothing. While he's there, he asks where Keller is. Grace says she was about to ask him the same thing, since Keller's supposedly been helping the police. That does not sit well with Loki. Loki tracks Keller's truck to a liquor store parking lot. Keller clocks him immediately, grabs a bottle of liquor, and walks straight over to confront him. Loki orders him to get in the car. He's not buying the act, because before heading into the store, Keller had been walking the wrong way across the lot, nowhere near the entrance. Something's up, and Loki knows it. Keller fires off excuses as Loki presses him on what he's really been up to. Loki tells him that Alex is now missing. That sets Keller off. He is furious that there are still no leads, and it's already day 6 since the girls disappeared. Back at the station, Loki digs into Keller's past. He finds an article that says that Keller's father, William Dover, apparently took his own life at their apartment on 234 Campello Street. The body was found by his wife Mary and their son, Keller. Back at Keller's torture den, he keeps the pressure on Alex, this time with a boiling shower. Alex just responds in riddles, saying he just wanted to play, and he never came. Keller, drained and out of moves, collapses to his knees and mutters a prayer. Outside, Loki tracks down the building's address from the article about Keller's dad and starts snooping around. Keller hears him coming and quickly plays asleep on the ground. He claims this is his usual spot to drink and then gives Loki a tour. But before Loki can find Alex, he gets a call from the store clerk. The suspect has just left. She given the car's license plate. Loki bolts out to Keller's relief. Loki tracks down the suspect, Bob Taylor, at his house. Turns out Bob's been buying kids' clothes at the mall, but he doesn't have any children. Bob tries to make a run for it again, but Loki's ready. He arrests him, calls for backup, and starts searching the place. The walls are covered with maze drawings. And in the sink, a pig's head. Loki busts open a locked room to find crates with padlocks piled all over the floor. He hauls Bob into the back seat of his car, then heads back inside to pry open the crates. Inside, there are bloody children's clothes, snakes slithering around, and even more of those creepy maze drawings. At the station, Loki shows all the parents photos of the bloody clothes. One of Anna's socks is clearly visible. Keller snaps at Loki, blaming him for wasting time chasing him instead of the real abductor. Later, Keller goes home to reporters starting to swarm. He tells Ralph he's not giving up yet and orders him to keep Grace away from the news and papers for now. While Bob obsessively draws mazes in custody, Loki loses patience and assaults him, demanding the girl's location. 2 officers rush in to stop the fight, but Bob seizes one of their guns and unalives himself before anyone can react. Back at Keller's torture den, Keller continues praying. Suddenly, Alex starts speaking cryptically about a maze. Keller presses for answers, but Alex falls silent. Later, Keller visits Holly and learns Alex's stutter comes from a childhood accident involving snakes her husband kept. She explains how she and her husband lost their faith after their son died of cancer, and adopting Alex was their way to cope. On the table, Keller spots a newspaper with the front page headline about Bob unaliving himself. At the station, Loki connects the dots. The maze in Bob's drawings matches the maze necklace found on the corpse in the priest's house. Then forensics calls with a twist. At Bob's place, they found 2 kid-sized mannequins buried in the backyard. And the blood? Just pig's blood, not human. Turns out Bob was kidnapped as a child himself, using all this twisted stuff to recreate his own childhood trauma. And the maze is from an unsolvable puzzle book. And maybe the girls are still alive. Loki, still determined to crack the case, flips through his old notes and spots something he'd missed. During his earlier visit to the Dover's house, the night Grace called him, one of the windows had been open. He heads back to the house to check it out. Beneath that same window, he finds 2 faint footprints in the dirt and Anna's other sock. Later, Grace receives a call. Joy's been found and taken to the hospital. Anna is still missing. Grace and Keller rush to join the Birches. Desperate and clinging to hope, they try to question Joy about Anna's whereabouts, but she's heavily drugged and unable to speak. We get a flashback. The same homemade maze book found in Bob's house lies on the floor, next to empty grape aid bottles. Nearby, Joy and Anna are seen barely responsive, their mouths taped, lying on the bare ground. Still drugged, the girls try to escape. Joy manages to get out. Anna doesn't. She's caught and left behind. When Keller questions a groggy Joy, she doesn't remember much, but drops one chilling line. "You were there." He immediately rushes out of the hospital room. He knows where Anna is. Loki, already suspicious, starts chasing him, arriving at Keller's building expecting to find him, but he isn't there. Instead, Loki finds Alex. Keller shows up at Holly's house to find Anna. She opens the door, ice pack on her arm, and he offers to fix her busted door as a peace offering. She lets him in. Inside, Keller skips the pleasantries. He tells her straight. He knows the girls have been here. She pulls a gun with the ease of someone who's clearly done this before. She makes him cuff himself and drink the grapeade cocktail, the one she's so fond of, the one that's been knocking kids out cold. Says it'll make him easier to deal with. He drinks. Then she leads him outside. She implies she has Anna and explains that before the disappearance of her husband, they abducted children as part of their war on God to avenge their son's death and to create demons out of the traumatized parents. Alex was their first abduction, and they also kidnapped Bob. She adds that Alex never harmed the girls. He just wanted to take them for a ride in the RV. It was her idea they should stay. Then Holly shoots Keller in the thigh and dumps him into a hole in the backyard. At the same time, at Keller's torture den, Loki wants to find Keller, but the captain sends him to notify Holly about Alex being found. Meanwhile, Keller, trapped in the hole, discovers Anna's whistle lying in the dirt. He clutches it and keeps praying. Loki arrives at Holly's house and finds no sign of her, just a photo of her late husband wearing the maze necklace. Putting the pieces together, Loki realizes Holly is behind it all. He searches the house and finds Holly giving Anna an injection. They start shooting at each other. Loki kills Holly, but takes a grazing wound to the head. Loki races Anna to the hospital, bleeding from the head and barely staying conscious. Cut to later. Loki, now recovering in a hospital bed, flips through a newspaper. The headlines fill in the blanks. Alex, real name Barry Milland, has been reunited with his real family. Keller, however, is still missing. Grace enters, pushing Anna in a wheelchair. Anna has a new whistle. They come to thank Loki. Then Grace talks to Loki privately and swears she hasn't heard from Keller. Loki says he'll find him. He says he'll probably go to jail, but Grace says he's a good man protecting his family. Later, two techs work in Holly's backyard. Loki shows up just as they're packing up. The ground's frozen solid. They say not much they could do. All they found were dead snakes. Once they're gone, Loki stands alone in the silence. Then he hears something faint. It's a whistle. The end. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time,